everyone. This is Chris Tech Analytics channel where you are going to be guided on any subjects related to analytics. Nice to have you today as we are going to continue our training on our exploration on subject of Tableau, which is one of the key software for analytics and most demanding skills. Power BI and Tableau are regarded as software for visualizations, for reporting your visuals. In all my previous videos, I have shown you different pillars that guided analytics, from problem formulation, down to collection of your data, down to organizing your data, which is by cleaning data very well, make it intact before you dive it into analysis, before you now create visuals. Visuals, people grab what you have done very clearly by the virtue of ability to report your findings, creating a big visual with it. You make them to state and also to assimilate what they have learned so far. And it's the best way of presenting your work in best way so that even people that they are not analytical people will be able to grab what you have done so far. Now let's continue on our subject with Tableau. From my screen, you can see from my screen here. So my previous video, we have started with parameters in which we are going to continue as well today. So from here now, we master Tableau, which is unlock the full potential of your data with advanced Tableau techniques. So we have started already. We have started with parameter functions, ability to use to create one dimensions and measures. In our last training class, we really brought on dimensions and we buttress more on it very well. That dimension is very powerful keys. So when we are working with test functions and variables in Tableau, why measure is very powerful when we are working with numerical values. And then we work around dimensions last class using case function. And today I'll be helping you to know how to work with measures in Tableau using numerical functions to create some tags. And at the same time, I'm going to be helping you to work with if function, how to work with if, if, and also else. In Python, it is called conditional flow. However, we are still going to get there, but in the case of this, our training, so this measure is very powerful and it's very, very important that we know how to work with them. Both dimensions and measure, they are very important, and you must know what they stand for and how to work with them. So I have taught us how to work with case function, which I'm going to do it. So that is case function with dimension. So I'm going to use this case function even to do measures to complete the work. And at the same time, I'm going to decide to work with if, else, and else statements. So these are called control flow. So case function dramatically switch between dimensions and measure using case functions for flexible analysis. And at the same time, if and else if also, let me just target the control flow, implement conditional logic to control which dimension measure is displayed based on user input. So I'm going to be guiding you to work with any of these, and they are very important. You can just work with any of these to implement your work. So, and thereafter, I will show you more slides as we move on so that you can see how the training will go. But right now, we are just working with case function, which I've started in our previous video. And also, I'm going to continue with this. So also help you to understand measure. So let's dive to our Tableau. So we don't know how to import data inside Tableau. You can watch my previous video, so you can see how to do that. So here we have in Tableau. So we have our data already here. So in Power BI, it's called queries, but in Tableau, it is called tables. And don't forget, I told you, anytime you import data inside Tableau, it will split it into two. It will split dimension, and I told you that dimension are text. Why measure? As you can see, they are numeric. So in our previous videos that we have worked with dimension in which I'm just going to use it. So, but I'm not going to use case function. So, but let me complete the aspect of the case function using measure. I've used case function with dimension, but today I'm going to use case function with measure. For instance, if you want to see differences, profit, discount, or quantity they have for each month, that shows that we are talking about frequency period. How will you now navigate and to do this? The first thing you have to do is to come here, work with your date function. When you click on your date function, just drag it to your column shelf. This is column shelf. Then we are not working with year, I'm working with months. I will right click on it, I'll click on months. So you can see January, February down to December. Now, I want to work with sales, profit, discount, and quantity. So I'm having about 4 criteria that I'm working with. I'm working with 4 criteria. Now, the first thing I have to do from here is to drag something like this to make it more wonderful. Is to just drag I will drag my sales since I'm working with 4 criteria, but I'm using sales as the first criteria or parameters that I'm working with. So you can click on entire view to make it more visible. Then you can click on your label tag so that now this is by sale. You have January, February. Now by sales, we have more sales in November before December, which is by sales, then September and also in March. So we can see the flow. You can see the flow, how those things is going. So these are flow that will guide our analysis. Now, but before we start working with that, because it's not only sales that we are working with, and don't forget that these are measures we are working numerical variables. Now we have to work with dimensions, we have to work with profit, you have to work with sales, profit, discount, and quantity. So we have to do that. Since I'm not working with only sales, I have to create parameter for it. Click on this button here. I click on this button here, click on create parameters. So we come up. Now, what do you want to do? You have to type is that this is um, using dimension. This is using, now we are working with measure. So now we now be choosing measure. Now this data type, I've told you different data type. We have float, integers, and string. Because I want to type it in form of text, I'm going to click on string at text. So I click on my list function here. Now, what did I want to work with is to input your parameters of what you want to work with here. Profit and sales profit. We have discounts. So these are the things you are having. You're having all these parameters here. So all those 4 measures, I want to see them and their performances in each month. And also I'm working with quantity. Don't forget that anything you are entering inside your parameter function, your box, is what you are going to enter when we start doing or decoding all those variables. Click on OK. When you click on OK, the next thing you have to do from here is to work around this. So since you have created your parameter, you can see come down your parameters. So what you just have to do is right click on it. When you right click on it, you are going to see show parameters. This is show parameters. When you click on show parameter, you can see the function here. These are show parameters you are seeing. So now by the time you click on it, nothing will change. Nothing is changing. Nothing is changing. So it won't change. Now for us to make it more implemented or to change or to be more effective, we have to create calculation for it. So we now come to this side again, click on create calculated fit. In Power BI is DAX, but in Tableau is calculated fit. Now we use it to do our calculations. So you have to tag with the subject, which is using measure. So this is using measure. And the next thing you have to do, you have to use our case functions. Don't forget that I've taught you on the aspect of case function for dimension. This is the second aspect, case function for measure now. Dimension, I've done that. You can watch my previous video on that. But this is case measure. So now you have to drag your parameter, the parameter you have done here, tag it with the case. So, and don't forget I told you that case function have 2 inputs. We have when and we have what? We have then. When is input, why then is output. So when you say when, it's a function will come up. So when what? When I want my sales. And don't forget, this is that you are putting here is what you type inside your parameter. Then what did I want? I want my sum, because it's an aggregation. I want my sum of 6. So continue when again, when I want my profit, put it, all this I'm putting is what I put inside my parameters. Then I want sum of profits, sum of profit. So all this then is something that you have it in your data already. They are already there in your data to make your work more flexible. When we have, quote it again, when we have discounts, so if you missed any of this spelling, it won't appear. So you have to be very careful when you're writing it. I'm working, let me say average. This is the average discounts. And what average, let's see the discounts and months that did work. So this is when we need, and the last one, quantity. When we need quantity, then what did I need? I need count. I want to use count of quantity. This is count of quantities. Then it's still writing the calculation contain error. So for us to make it more effective, we just have to write end function. When you click on end function, you are going to see that it has been done. This is end function. It's perfect. So it's telling us that our calculation is valid. You click on OK. So clicking on OK, you are going to see the variable here, what you just did here. So you drag it on that sum of 6 under your column shelf, and you place it there. So you can see that when you change anything from this parameter dimension here, so you can see that it's changing. You can see that it's changing. You can see that it's changing. So now we be able to feature out those 4 variables being given, or that they ask us to do. I've changed it back to 6. Now, before then, you have to tag this thing here. You have to tag it. When you tag it with what you are working with, just come inside insert. When you click on insert, you are going to see choose measure, which is subject of what you are working with. By what? By month. Don't forget that we are working by month, which is say by month. So we can format this, which is, and we decide to do that, we decide to leave it, but it is good to just decide to make it work more comprehensive, so that, and then we have it, click on this. This is sales by month. So now sales by month, you can click on this. So profit, sales by profit. Now for sales by month, you can see that we have more sales in November, followed by December, followed by September, then back to March. You can see where we made losses. You can see that we made losses in January. So, and of course, when you come back to profit to see the performance of profit in each month, you can see that in December we made more profit, followed by even in September. This November that we made more sales, we do not have more profit there. So now this is how we be able to work with it. And of course, if you click on their discounts, you can see by their average. So on average, then if you click on count of quantities we have, so that no wonder we have more sales in November, because November had more quantities, followed by December. But in terms of profit, because we are concerned more with our profit, to see where we have made our profit, and you can see the line graph, how it's going. So now we generated this. Now, and you have made any correction or any error. So from here, it won't work. So if I show you what I drag here under my choosing measure, so if you want to go back there, you can just come back here under your choosing measure, right click on it, just click on edit. So when you click on edit, it will take you back to the channel and be able to correct what you have done so far. So adding B, the calculation is what you want to do. You see choose measure here, right click on it, click on edit, and as well you can click on anything here. Now, for instance, now let me intentionally remove this Y from quantity. So I didn't mean I made a mistake. You see that quantity will not display. Or let me just also mistakenly remove S from 6. So now, because that is not what I put inside my dimension, if I made a mistake here, it won't happen. So now, if I click on 6, you will see that, you can see that we are not seeing anything. So if I click on quantity, you can see that we are not seeing anything. So we must be careful the way we spell our work so that we'll be able to won't have any issue with time. So the first thing we have to do is to click on, you can bring your heads back, and as well you can click on your quantity, can fix it back, and you click on apply. So when you go back to it, quantity has appeared, we come back, says appear. And that's how to work around the subjects we are talking about. Now, this is by case function. I've shown you on how to use case functions to generate dimension and how to use case functions to generate measure. Now, let me now show you another way, which is control flow using if, if, and else. These are control flow. In Python, they call them control flow. It guides us on how to make our work more flexible as well. When we decide not to use case function, we may decide to use an if function as well to generate your work. Now, in doing that, let me create another page. Now, from here now, you can write it that this is um, measure by case function, case by case function. So now you have to type it. When you made a mistake, you can type it case function. So on my sheet 2, I'm going to click on my sheet 2, tab what I want to work with. This is by let me say control flow. This is my control flow, as you can see here. So, and which is by if, else if, and else if, and else. So you can write it here so that you're able to guide you. So as I've written it here, you can see that it has worked here. Now, I will use it to generate my dimension. I will use this to generate my dimension. So when I use this to generate my dimension, one thing I have to do from here now, I will work with some criteria. I will work with some criteria with you. So this criteria will help you and guide you well. So now, under these criteria that I want to work with, I will work with about 4 criteria from here. Now, let me choose any the criteria that I want to work with. Now, first things that I have to work with is, and we generate, let me work with, for instance, I will use category, I will use region, I will use segment, and I will use subcategories. So I'm working 4 criteria under dimension. And this dimension, we have done something like this before, but we use case function. But I want to show you on how we can use control flow for it as well. So for instance, let me use this as for example, categories. Then I want to use category by sales. And at the same time, we use category by profit, categories by and all that, and generate different models that I want to work with. Now I sort descending. So when I sort it descending, we have something like this. Now, it's not only category I want to work on. I want to work with categories of categories. I want to work with region, and I want to work with segments. So these are 4 parameters that I'm working with. The first things I have to do then is to create your parameter, which you know. You have to create parameters so that you can write out those things out. So just say this is choosing dimension. Let me use the choosing dimension. Choosing dimension. So under choosing dimension, you see float. Then I click on string because I want to write in form of text. So this one will now become category. This is categories. This is category. This is subcategories. This is region. Let me intentionally create a space so that I will show you something. It won't work, but I intentionally do something like this so that I want to use it to explain something to you. So under these subcategories, we have region, and then we have segment. That is what maybe they want to work with, like our business requirement. You click on OK, then you click on choose measure, which is show parameters. So we have it, and it won't work because you have not done any calculation with it. It won't work at all. So it won't work. So you can see that it's not working. So now for us to make it effective, we go back to our calculation using create calculated. Now, before we use say choosing dimension. So under this choosing dimension, the first thing we have to do now, before we use case function, remember click this function, then we tag it with this choosing dimension, then we start writing our when. Now, but now I'm not doing that. I'm using if function. Say if. So if what, I will tag my topic if is equal to now category. So then that's what I'm writing. Then I want what? I want categories. So as if choosing dimension, I have to, I can type it, it will come up. If is choosing dimension, so is subcategory, category. Remember that I intentionally did something for this category so that I want to use it for something. So subcategories. So, and as well, we have as if we have choosing measure. Choosing measure, we have we have region as well. Type region. Don't forget that what you are typing here must match what we have your that parameter box. So we have region. So again, let's see want and choosing dimension. We have four criteria that we are working with. So let's see if we have this one region. We have segments now. This is by segments. Then I want an segment. See. And also we are going to end it as well. So this is and of course after you have done, you are going to see calculation is valid. So then you click on OK. And you click on OK. Now you drag it as well. Now you can see that. Let me just click on it so that I can show you. You can see under this function is different from case function. This is using control flows to generate your work. You may decide to use this, decide to use case function. Two different ways you can manifest or do or achieve your tasks. So you can now drag it the same way, drag it in under categories. So when you have it, you sort descending in ascending order. So as well, when you change it, it's working. When you change it, it's working. When you click on these categories, it will not work. So I told you that I wanted to show you something the other time. It won't work. So under these categories now, let me try to format it. I will drag this by choosing dimension. I will drag it on my color box, and I click use. So you can try different colors. If you don't want it, click on this box here. You can click on it. So click on it, will show you more. Or you click on this box here, just click on edit colors to show you. If you don't want that one self, you can just go click on this box here. So it will show you more that you want. So just click on any one, like the one now, assign palette, apply, and you can see that I changed the color. So if you don't want that one, you can go ahead. So now under this one now, I can now come back and this category will now work. I show you, I told you that this region we have this, and if you don't want this color, you can do that as well. Now, under this choosing dimension, you can just go back there. So under this parameter, and so that you can edit the mistake. So now in analytics, there must not be any space between any variables or any character. So if you have any space, you will see it as character. Character and no values. You won't be able to generate your standard work. You can see that I close the bridge. So is this place, I close it, I have to close it. So I have to close the gap. So if I don't close the gap, it won't see it. Can you see I'm closing the gap? When I click on OK, that was the mistake. So if I click on these subcategories again, you will see, so it's still bringing this issue. We still go back to your work and to see what you have done, whether you have not applied. So, so under this, I have to close. I didn't close it well, so you can see that it has worked. So I need to close this ID card. So now let me tag them with labels so you can see what we have. So we have this, you see, we have this, you can see that. So these are what we have. So as a matter of fact, from here, you can generate it, you can map both of them together. When you click on this last one, we have worksheet here. This is workbook. When you click on it, workbook, you can something like this will come up. Just drag the first statement, drag it here. The second one, drag it here. You can do many things with this. Now, just open this size. When you open this size, this button here, which you open. Now come to width, this width here. You have to enlarge this area. So you have to enlarge this area as well. When you enlarge this area, the thing will go. Just click on the size again. So that there will be space. There will be space. So we can now try to adjust this. You can try to adjust it. So you can see that you adjust it. So you can adjust it. Now, what I want to say, I want to make it interactive. Now, this is sales, and we are having sales here. This is different months by sales as well. So now, for this to make it interactive, I'll just click on any box. I will click on this. So let me click on this one. So you can see when I click on it, you can see filter here. Can you use filter? I'll right to click on it. I'll click on filter. When I click on consumer, for instance, consumer, we see consumer, what we made on consumer in each of this month on consumer. When I click on it, we see that it will change. It will tell us in January, consumer, we made this. So in February, in consumer, made it. So in other words, which month do we make more sales in consumer? The addition of all this, what you have here, is summation. So now, for each now, what do we have when you click on consumer? Which month do we have more sales for consumer? It's telling us that we have more sales in consumer in September, and it's telling us what we made. I made 195,056. So now if I click on corporate, which month do we have more sales in corporate? That one should be November. I click on office, apply. Which month do we have more sales in? See have November. So that is how we can just generate. That is by say. That is by say. You are saying by say. If I change it to profit, if I change to profit, you can see that profit have changed here. This is by profit. So then we can now generate, this is sales that we did. So we can try to work with by profit. So that shows that the story changes as well. So that we have more sales. We have it also in December is what we have more profit. So in September, we have more sales profits in September than in December, followed by December. That shows that in November we have more sales, and yes, we have sales before. But in profit, the integral came down. So this is how to generate and to maneuver your work and if you want to change anything from here, if you want to change this control flow, want to change this to other thing, just come to your control flow here. You can change the segment because I'm working with segment. I can now come back to region. So when I click on region, come back to your dashboard, you can see that it has changed to region. Now you can now click on west to see what you made in the west, where we have made more. Can make it more interactive, and it's very great for visualizations. And I hope with these things that you are able to grab what I'm able to communicate so well to master the art of measure and also dimension with parameters to generate or to implement some tasks. I want you to follow up on this YouTube channel, to subscribe and to share with your friend. This is a little way of encouraging me to do more of these videos that will guide you for educational purposes. Thank you for watching.